Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Welcome, everybody. We are live. The Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities on August 12, 2025. We are currently waiting for quorum, so please stay tuned. Welcome, everybody, to the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities, August 12, 2025. We now have quorum. So I will commence a roll call. Please indicate your presence when I call your name. Benjamin Cullimore. Kara Hernold.
Here.
Levi Genosi? No. Leif Johansson.
Here.
Thank you. Argan Carr? No. Paula Kilburn.
Here.
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 Jake Maurice.
Here.
Thank you. Mark McNeil.
Here.
Thank you. Tim Murphy. Kim Nolan.
Here.
Thank you. Tim Nolan.
Here.
Thank you. Robert Westbrook. And Councillor Mark Taddison sent regrets. Would the staff who are present please introduce themselves with their name and position?
Carrie McIntosh, Legislative Coordinator.
Lauren Vreitz, Lauren Vreitz, Senior Project Manager, Community Engagement.
Mateen Monzavi, Legislative Assistant.
Joanne Starr, Manager of Municipal Parking.
Okay. And Sheila.
Hi, Sheila Duvernay, Manager Business and Service Support.
Thank you very much. Are there any other staff present? Seeing none. I will now call this meeting to order. As we have a quorum present for today's meeting, I would like to call this meeting of the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities to order. As well, a reminder that all electronic devices are to be switched to a non-audible function during committee meetings. Ceremonial activities. LC McIntosh will now read the Hamilton Land Acknowledgement.
The city of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We further acknowledge that this land is covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase 1792 between the Crown and Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Today, the city of Hamilton is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, North America, and we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers.
Thank you, LC McIntosh. Approval of agenda. May I please have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda as presented? Moved by Paula, seconded by Kara. Thank you. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented? Oh, sorry. Is there anybody opposed to approving the agenda as presented? Apologize. Seeing none, and that's carried. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Hearing none. Approval of minutes of the previous meeting, 5.1, July 8, 2025. May I please have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes as presented?
Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Seconded by? Seconded by Paula. Thank you. Sorry, I lost my place here for a second. Is there any discussion on the minutes? I'm seeing none. Then is there anybody opposed to adopting the minutes as presented? Seeing none. Hello, Robert.
Hello there.
Then that's carried. 7.1, for information, in the interest of time, we are going to hear all the items for information 7.1 to 7.9 and then receive them together at the end. 7.1, Customer Relationship Management. Sheila Duvernay, Manager, Business and Support Services, is present to provide the presentation. Sheila.
Thank you very much. Can everyone see the screen?
I can, yes.
Perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you very much to the committee members and also to the extended members who did testing. So the artifacts that we will be adding will be documentation to help assist users in troubleshooting when setting up an account or any issues that they may have once they are in the portal. We're also looking at redesigning the user login page and experience of that login. And we are also looking at updating the privacy and acceptable use statements to align with the new portal. The artifact that was tested by the committee members was the pre-authorized debit form. There were 3 versions. There was a PAD new enrollment, PAD change, and also the PAD cancel. So based on the information and the feedback we received, we need to do the redesign of the login so that we can comply with keyboard-only users guidelines. Also, to enhance the experience after creation of the account and first-time login. We did receive a number of kudos with regards to the form that was tested. Using a Mac with VoiceOver. A number of testers indicated that the form was fully accessible and it was easy to navigate and interact with all the various form controls. So I want to make sure that we continue to engage with this committee as we put new artifacts on and make changes. And I'm hoping that the committee and the extended members will want to continue to test and assist us with the forms that will be posted. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. I know I'll help out where I can. I'm sure others will. Are there any questions for Sheila? Comment? No? Okay. Yeah, we can't quite see the screen. Sheila, do you mind not sharing anymore? Oh, there we go. Now I'll ask this again when I can see everybody. Does anybody have any questions? I'm seeing none. Okay, well, we look forward to the next iteration, Sheila, and I'm sure many of us look forward to helping you test.
Thank you very much. Have a great meeting.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Okay, next up is 7.2, parking exemption on city property. Joanne Starr, Manager Parking Operations, is here to discuss this with the committee. Just some background. There was some email chains earlier this year regarding PSW and nurse support parking issues. I believe this is in that general topic. So please, Joanne, take it away.
So question, are you asking for information about the home care program?
Well, I think we're looking for what the home care program is at this moment, but also we'd like to raise a lot of the issues that we're having with home care and possibly discuss ways around solving them. There's been, especially because the city is moving away from one-to-one parking in new buildings and whatnot, this is going to be a bigger issue as we go along. So it's something that we would need to revisit, I think, and see if there's any new ideas or new directions that we might.
So thank you for clarifying. So I guess what I'll do is I'll start with explaining what we do have in the terms of a permit. And then I would like to open it up and hear feedback from you, from everyone on what the concerns are with the program. So right now we do offer what we call a home care permit. It is for streets that have permit-only parking on it. So we basically have two types of permit parking in residential areas. One is to do with if there's a time limit restriction, so there might be like a 1 hour or 2 hour time limit. And so residents of the street can purchase a permit exempting their vehicles from the time limit. And the other is we do have, some streets have permit-only parking, so meaning you must have a permit purchased through the city in order to park on the street. So for those streets that have permit-only, we do offer a home care permit. So it's the person, so it's the homeowner or the tenant who lives on the street. They would apply for the permit through the city. And what it does is it exempts a home care worker, whether it's a worker, it might be a family member or any other type of support worker that provides services in the home. It gives them an exemption, 2 hour exemption to park on the street using that permit. So like I said, it's the homeowner, the tenant, they would actually have the permit. The home care worker would come to do the service. They take the permit, they put it in their vehicle, the windshield of their vehicle, and then they're exempt for two hours from that. Currently, there's no fee for that permit, and it is based on as people feel the need for it.
Thank you. I'm going to open the floor to questions for Joanna or comments on the program as it is now and some of the issues some people are having. If we could have I know there's some people that would like to speak to this issue. So we got Mark first.
So as I understand, somebody can get a parking permit for an attendant care worker that the tenant would have. So would they copy it and give it to any attendant care worker to put in their window? Or how would that work? Because not me, but I know of other people who have various attendants at different times that would not be the same person. And the other thing I was thinking is some people I know have two attendants at that same time period. So they would have two attendants coming, say, between 8 and 10. And those two attendants would be there simultaneously for the care. And how would that work under the current system?
Through you, Chair. So generally people apply to us and they ask for the permit. And generally it's one permit per homeowner. I haven't come across the concern about having multiple care workers at the same time, but I can appreciate that that might come up. With regards to the permit itself, so we issue one permit typically. So it's one permit that's given to the homeowner. And then the idea is that as a healthcare worker comes to the home, they take the permit, they put it in their vehicle in the dash, and then it exempts them for 2 hours. And then at the end of their stay, they would take the permit and give it back to the homeowner. And then the next, and let's say they have another healthcare worker come, for instance, and they can just take that permit and put it in their vehicle.
So you're going to lose approximately 15 to 20% of their time by going in and out of the building twice on a visit. And the time for attendant care is allocated by need, and that doesn't include running in and out of the car twice for arrival and departure. So that's why I was asking if it would be permitted to photocopy that permit. Like as it stands now.
I'll note that, that's a concern with the current program.
Like right now, I don't have any need for it at all because I have a parking space and a garage, so that's not necessary. But I do know acquaintances and friends who do have that type of need where they're further downtown, and so they they don't have access to that type of parking, but do require attendant care service or nursing service without parking.
Sorry, was there a question there, Mark, or was it just a
No,
comment?
I just wanted to make that clarification on the type of activities that happen.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
the question is that could they consider having a photocopy that they would give to a worker who would also probably have an employer designation somewhere on their vehicle as well? Like, for instance, Marta Dimes does have a window certificate that says they're a March of Dimes. It just seems impractical that they would have to run up, grab the ticket, run back down and put it in their window and then come back up again at the end of the shift certificate or the permit to the homeowner.
So it cuts into the homeowner's time with the worker.
Correct.
Right.
Each and every worker.
So that adds up. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll mark that down.
Thanks.
Hello?
Robert.
Yes, I'd like to point out that Mark is absolutely correct when he's talking about the time consumption. Many of these nurses have many customers in a single shift, and if they were doing this with a number of people, it really cuts into their time. That's all I wanted to point out.
Thank you, Robert. I know that you had a number of questions in previous discussions. Were you curious about parking lots?
Yes. I was wondering, well, that is city property, so if they could somehow arrange a permit where the nurses or PSWs could go to a city parking lot or on city streets even, because this is I know it's arguable what is an essential service, but this is it's a very serious, like I live in an Inwell building and we have nurses and PSWs here all the time. And they're traveling all over the city to service their customers. And there's one moment they're in Hamilton, one minute they're in Burlington or Dundas. So what I was hoping was to see a blanket permit for these PSWs, maybe that there could, just throwing this out there, that they could purchase a blanket permit from the city, or have something that they could put in their dashboard on a regular basis to exempt them from paying on city property or city streets.
I'd like to address and clarify about paid parking zones, so both on street and in our municipal lots. So our municipal lots, and we do have a number of paid on-street zones, in particular in the more high density area, so like downtown. And it is the obligation of the person who owns the vehicle to pay for parking, whether it's in our municipal lots or on street. And so for example, the support worker, if they're employed, they would pay for parking the same as everyone else. They certainly have the discretion through their employer. Like some employers do pay for parking, and that's an option too. But it would be still up to the actual vehicle owner to pay for parking when they're in our municipal lots or in paid streets.
I agree that that's the present policy, but I'm wondering if that could be looked at again.
Currently, at this time, we wouldn't consider opening up free parking to healthcare workers.
Well, for either free or some kind of discount, because many of these nurses and PSWs are paying for parking out of their own pocket. Their agency isn't even compensating them.
we could discuss it.
I understand. I do understand what you're saying with regards to paying for parking, but everyone's obligated to pay for parking, whether it's if they're parking in a paid zone on a street or in a municipal lot, they're required to pay for parking.
Well, I agree that's the present policy. I'm wondering if this can be amended or looked at to reduce the amount that these essential workers are paying.
When it comes to municipal parking, so we're obligated, just so you know, we're kind of a separate entity within the city. And when it comes to parking, we're required to be self-sustaining. So we charge parking in our municipal lots and on street to help offset our costs. Offering up free parking to a particular group would not, may not be considered fair, and any type of change to that type of policy would require council approval.
Okay, I understand that. I don't know where to go with this, because I do know that the present policy isn't working for the PSWs and nurses, because they're performing an essential service like home care for the people. I just think the issue needs to be looked at deeper.
Okay.
That there are some problems with it.
I'm just going to stop you there. We can put you on a second time speaker list, but let's get some other questions, and maybe then we'll be further along. I believe Tim was next. Yes, Tim is a first-time speaker.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Excuse me. I mean, clearly the city's position is, paying for parking is the cost of going to work, and that's not an uncustomary position with many employers, whether they be colleges, universities, or located in the downtown core. People have to pay for the parking. I think the profession of being a home care support person, whether it be PSWs or nursing, is that these people move from site to site, location to location, home to home, in a very short period of time, frequently. So, whether they're a couple hours here in the mornings, per second. When the raised hand status gets cleared, it gives a verbal cue. So my apology for that. So what's unique about the PSWs or nurses or other caregivers like occupational therapists, physiotherapists, and so forth, is they're moving about from location to location, and the amount of time they may have to pay towards the cost of the meter or the cost of the parking stall may be in excess of the actual time in the home. So I'm sort of thinking, I wonder what that solution could be, because it is a bit of a predicament. The HSR, in conversation with them recently, they offer up a frequent user program. So in other words, once a person has paid for X number of trips aboard the HSR in a 1 week or a 7-day period, all other trips aboard the HSR are free thereafter until the end of that 7-day period. I wonder if the city and parking would consider a similar kind of program that the HSR is offering up, which is basically a frequent user program. That once you've paid for parking X number of times during a single, a specific period of time, e.g. 1 week or 7 days, then all other incidents of parking are free thereafter. And that might help to alleviate the challenges, because a lot of people are paying exorbitant costs to park when primary purpose is they're providing care to individuals, and the location of that care is in those high traffic areas like the downtown core. So I just offer that up as a potential solution.
I appreciate that, and I note that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Kara, I believe, is next.
Yeah, thanks. I think this is, an interesting discussion, and I appreciate folks trying to find solutions to, like, ultimately, like, what is a labor issue. Many people are employed properly in the sense where, like, they're treated a little bit more fairly by their employers, where their parking and daily expenses associated with work are actually covered. And the core issue here, I think, is like PSWs and nurses are just more precariously employed and and treated less well, I guess, by their employers. And this is like a broader systemic issue about healthcare. And, all of us who are like in the healthcare system see where things get squeezed and our supports are impacted. So like, I just want to say, like, Robert, and like, thank you for bringing this up and bringing it forward. And I don't know, I think we're being heard, but like, yeah, I hear what the city's saying, but we have no influence over like labor law when it comes to the compensation that these PSWs ought to be receiving. So I like this thinking out of the box idea. So that's it.
I think it was just a comment. Okay. And next up is Mark for a second time.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the PSWs that I know don't get paid for mileage or travel time. And then they're assessed, for instance, at a particular worker like me at 2 hours in the morning, and they can't take 15 minutes out at the beginning and the end of that shift to run back and forth with the single permit. Now, if that permit could be copied with a person's name on it, or a tenant care's work name on it, or the agency name on it, that could be kept in their car, that would go a long way to alleviate the loss of time for that particular client by having the attendants run back and forth all the time with the same permit. So that might be a solution. That was just a suggestion.
Oh, just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that we'll write that down. Okay, and Paula.
Okay, so I get this straight. When a PSW comes to an apartment building, they have to park their car, run upstairs or get an elevator, which can take forever, go up to the client, get the pass, go back down, go back up again, and perform whatever duties they were doing, then run back down again afterwards, come back up, and then run back down again. Is this all included in the time that the person has with a PSW or a nurse, or? Because that's a lot of time taken away from that client. And I don't think that's fair. So there's got to be a better way of doing this. So can somebody tell me, is that right? Does the time start from when the person parks their car?
Yes, a client will not get increased amount of time to accommodate the marathon of going back and forward.
Is that 6 times? That 4 times, well, 6 times they have to go up and down. So that's going to take away, as you said, I think you said, at least 15 minutes from that care that person's getting. And I think that is wrong. It's so wrong on so many levels. There's got to be a better way of doing this. So that's just my comments.
That's your comment. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none. Paula, can you take over for me?
Yes, sir, I will take the chair.
Thank you very much. I have some questions and concerns and suggestions. Firstly, you mentioned that treating a group differently wouldn't be fair. It's equitable. It's not equal, but it's equitable because these people are going to need something extra to contribute properly. So that's right off the hop. We're talking about 2 different issues, I think, here. You're regarding permit parking on streets and time-limited parking, which we were also just discussing with another colleague the other day. But there's also a lot of buildings, as I said, we're not doing the one-to-one anymore. A lot of apartment buildings are going to be relying more and more on parking lots that are not owned by the property. They're not going to have a parking space given to them that they can issue to, say, a worker. So that's a separate, I believe, department that we're going to have to work out something as well, because is there any program that allows you to give your PSW your parking pass for a parking lot?
Through you, Chair. So no, so I guess, sorry, I should back up. So when it comes to private property, so we can't regulate parking on private property. We can't tell the property owner how to operate their parking lots. So it would be up to each individual property on whether they offer, for example, visitor parking, or if they have any arrangements for healthcare workers.
I apologize. I was referring specifically to city parking lots.
So city parking lots, so all of our city lots, with the exception of one in Stony Creek, are paid parking lots.
But my question is there any program where a person could give a pass to the PSW and allow them to get free parking from the parking lot?
No, we do not. So yeah, and thank you for asking that question, because I do want to clarify. Currently, our home care permit only provides an exemption, if you will, or allows those with a permit to park in permit-only zones on street. So people continue to use our municipal lots. They can use paid parking, on-street parking zones, and they can also park in time limit zones, whether they pay for the parking or in time limit zones, parking to whatever the max is. So for example, if it's a 2-hour zone, legally they can legally park there for 2 hours.
Okay. So my concern is that, as was pointed out, these PSWs are often working many shifts. Some of them are an hour long, so they're doing, I know PSWs doing 6-7 shifts a day, just jumping around from person to person. So paying for parking each time is going to add up. And as Tim mentioned, sometimes they're going to be paying for parking that they're not using because they're already gone. My suggestion is it possible to have some sort of daily master parking pass for city where a person can pay a flat rate, have it in their car for that date, and they can park wherever?
Through you, Mr. Chair, and thinking of the permits that we do offer, none of them do give that kind of exemption. We don't have that available.
My question, is that possible, or is that just not in the realm?
So through you, Chair, we are obligated to, where we do have paid parking, to charge for paid parking. So we wouldn't be able to exempt people from paying.
Well, you're not exempting people from paying. They're paying a flat rate across for the day. So they're saying paying $20 that would give them access to park anywhere in the city is what I'm asking.
So we currently do not offer such a program.
Okay. Okay, then that is my questions and suggestions then. Then I will take back the chair then.
You may have the chair, sir.
Thank you very much. Now, before I go to Mark, is there anybody that has a first or a second time question? I'm seeing none. So Mark for a third time.
For a couple seconds here. So as existing policy approved by City Council, any changes to that would require a motion to City Council. Is that correct?
Any changes to the, through you, Chair, any changes to the policy would require council approval. That is correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments for Joanne at this time? I'm seeing none. I know we've had some discussions here that are important. I think they should be continued, probably with the committee first, and then would you be open to discussing this in a working group in the future?
Through you, Chair, absolutely. We would be happy to attend any future meetings.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Joanne.
I just wanted to say thank you very much, Joanne, for coming and answering our questions. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Okay, thank you very much, Joanne. Have a good day. Okay, and now I need to relinquish the chair.
Yes, sir.
On to the meeting notes. So first up is Built Environment Working Group. Where's my note? There it is. We discussed, funny enough, parking at the last meeting. It was a very in-depth discussion, both parking with permitted parking, where people pay to have a permitted spot out in front of their house or close to their house. And then another program that allows both a 1 meter extra exemption on parking meters and a 12-hour time limit. So we had a lot of discussions on the rules as they are, as they were designed back in the 80s, and what changes parking would like to see come forward. So we discussed different options for permitted parking. They would like to phase it out completely, for example, but we raised some issues that was going to cause. So we're discussing options on that. Furthermore, they would like to have people register for free parking as opposed to just having an MTO sticker in the car window. They would like people to have an app that they can access to access the free parking, because they're using automated parking enforcement now, and it's impossible for the automated parking enforcement machines to check the front window for an MTO sticker. So they're willing to extend the 3-hour time limit still, just changing the wording to make it 2 hours plus 50% and have it added to an app as well. They would like to phase out the 12-hour parking exemption for time-limited parking areas, which we're still in discussions on. And so I think that's where we left it. We were going to do disability justice audit, but we were just so overwhelmed with parking, so we postponed that till next week. And then LRT, we started a review last week with the LRT department with was supposed to be a meeting that combined BWG and TWG. But we had some serious technical issues, so we're going to try and reschedule it this week. Again, with a larger group, we'll have to monitor for quorum. And that's it for BWG.
Any questions for James on
Tim has a question, Paula.
Okay, Tim. Yes, Tim.
Well, I have a question on both pieces and or a comment. So the parking issue is not a built environment issue. That's an operational issue. I don't quite understand why it went to built environment. I would suggest it go to transportation, because historically that's where all parking issues have been dealt with. If we're talking about the design of a parking spot, maybe that falls under built environment, but that's not what we're talking about here. So,
That is, pardon me, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's not. When we're talking about whether or not there are 12-hour zones or no 12-hour zones, that's not a spatial issue. That's an operational issue.
The parking permit meter, as I was going to say, was the issue, is the parking permits, installing parking permit signs and parking spaces.
Yeah, but everything you talked about had nothing to do with the built environment, it had to do with a policy issue. It was around 3-hour parking limits as opposed to none. It was around whether people can get parking permits out front of their house or whether they can't. Those are operational issues. They're not physically design issues. So I would suggest that this item go to transportation where it belongs as opposed to built environment. The second thing is the LRT. And you and I have to wait for the So the LRT, you and I have had some email correspondence on this item. LRT is a big issue. It's a multi-billion-dollar issue, and I don't think that 2 or 3 or 4 people from the ACPD are sufficient representation on the issue around accessibility. I think this is a much bigger issue than even ACPD alone. I think we should be reaching out to more organizations and more people with disabilities in the community to be part of a bigger discussion around the accessibility of not just the conveyances themselves,
The Disability Justice,
but also
CDN and DJNO.
I don't know who's speaking. So you know, this is a bigger issue than just a small handful or less than a handful of people being the representation. I know, James, you said in the email that the LRT folks have to report to council in September. I don't understand why we're trying to squeeze meetings into August in order to allow the LRT folks to report in September when they've had months and months and months to consult with us and meet with us. And before we're trying to squeeze a couple of meetings into a day or two in order to give them the opportunity to report to council. They've had to have known for months that they had to report to council. I don't understand why we're trying to squeeze all this stuff in. It's not good practice. And so I think we should make a real effort to try to reach out to a bigger community of people with disabilities. And 2, I don't think we should be trying to squeeze all of this stuff in and feel pressured to squeeze it in when there's been plenty of opportunity to consult with the advisory committee.
Okay. We are working with the Disability Justice Audit is ACPD working with the Hamilton Community Benefits Network and the Disability Justice Network of Ontario, along with, I believe the roundtable as well is going to be involved in it, just to review the current plan that Metrolinx put out in a disability justice lens, as was reported in the last 2 ACPD meetings. So we are working with a larger group. This particular LRT review is one of many meetings. We've already, I believe we had LRT here at ACPD earlier this year. We've been delegating to LRT over the past 2 years, asking them for more consultation, and they're doing so. But they're asking for some very detailed information that can't be fit into the 10-minute window that can be provided at an ACPD meeting. So we were going to do the review. go through it in detail, then provide the results for the ACPD for their comments and possible addition, at which time they would have an opportunity to discuss this with Abdul and the LRT Planning Department.
I'm curious about this disability justice lens that you're referring to. Did ACPD appoint somebody specifically to be our spokesperson for this disability justice group?
No, it was a collaboration between DJNO, HCBN, and us. I reported it the last 2 ACPD meetings.
Okay, but did we actually appoint somebody to be part of that?
It's not an official
Justice
group. They want information for their report also in a tight time frame window, which I've just been informed is not quite September. It's been canceled for September.
All right, well then we've got less pressure to try to deal with this. I think, this is my opinion, but I think we should be assigning one or more people who want to be part of this disability justice lens. It can't be just a report that, you know, I'm informally working through the disability justice lens. We have to officially appoint somebody or multiple persons to be part of that group.
It's not a discussion group. It's we've all been given the same package, the Metrolinx package, and we're all 3 groups are reviewing it. BWG is supposed to review it next week and go through it and give details, and then we're supposed to put it forward. It wasn't supposed to be like a long-term discussion group.
Well, still, I think we should be assigning specific people to be part of that process. It can't be just ACPD as a voluntary component of that. It has to be officially done.
Paula, do you want to weigh in on this? And there are other speakers on the list. Your microphone's not on.
I was on the wrong screen. Who else is there to speak then, Kerry?
You have Mark and then Kara. I'm not sure who put their hand up first, though.
Kara.
It was Kara.
Okay. Okay, Kara.
Yeah, I guess I was at the most recent built environment working group where we were discussing the parking pieces, and I guess like for clarity, Tim, it was around kind of a really dated program from the 70s and looking at ways to update it, and it's the installation of permit signs on the street when someone has like a disability parking permit and they actually have like an assigned spot on street parking, and it's the installation of those signs. And there's kind of like problems with that because it doesn't actually dedicate it to be like an accessible parking space. It just looks just like any other permitted street parking sign. So we had kind of discussions about the ambiguity of those signs despite the fact that they're meant to be accessible, and because you don't have to display your parking permit in your window, like it may be taken by other people who have street parking permits. So it was truly around like kind of the program with how these signs are being installed, and costs, and whether or not that cost will be passed on to the accessibility user. So I guess like just for additional clarity around like that discussion point at the built environment, and that's all I have to comment on.
Thank you. I'm going to have to pass the chair to somebody else because I have to go. Mark, will you take over as chair?
I don't mind taking over as chair, but I got a question.
Okay. Oh, okay. Do your question and then you can take over as chair. Okay.
Okay. As I understand this, James, this package went out to a bunch of different organizations, and you're just sort of informally chatting on the same subject matters. Is that correct? Not like a formalized group discussion. Is that correct?
That is correct. It was a last-minute summer thing. I've been informing the ACPD as it's going on. I've also sent around this package to everybody. Everybody should have the Disability Justice Audit Lens package for their review.
Okay. So I have the chair.
Yes, you have the chair. I have to leave, guys. I'm very sorry. Okay.
Okay, do we have another agenda item or James?
Well, that's just Built Environment Working Group.
Okay. So any other questions? Seeing no other questions, do we any opposed to the notes?
Oh, we're just gonna do them all together and then do the opposed and stuff at the end.
All right. So we're moving to Housing Working Group?
Housing Working Group, correct.
Okay. All right. Housing Working Group meeting notes, July 15th, 2025. Any questions? Seeing no questions, we can move out to Outreach Working Group update.
Can I just give a brief update for
Sure.
the housing?
Yeah.
We didn't have a very quick meeting. We didn't have a very long meeting, I should say, because, well, summertime, we have trouble getting people there, and I know Robert had things to do. But we did discuss the CDB and the new city housing building. I want to bring up the CDB because it just came out this summer. For those of you who are still unaware, there is now a $200 a month benefit for people of working age, with disabilities, that they can get so long as they have a disability tax credit. So I want to put it out there that if you haven't gotten one yet, you really should start speaking with your doctor, applying for a DTC so that you can apply to Service Canada, who is actually running this particular program for their Canada Disability Benefit. And I will be available if anybody has any questions and needs assistance. We should have posters and pamphlets and whatnot for not just people with disabilities who want to apply, but also medical practitioners who are having troubles getting the applications paid for by the government and whatnot. So we hope to have these packages out for everybody soon for distribution. And so that's it for the CDB. And also the city housing building at Traffic Circle is opening soon. So we would like to see the accessibility of it.
James, well, the Revenue Canada or Canada Revenue Agency have a booth at the fair.
Canada Revenue and Service Canada both have a booth. We're waiving the fee, but we've asked them to give particular attention to the disability tax credit and the Canada Disability Benefit, and really push helping people learn what the steps are involved and get that forward, because that's money in everybody's pocket that you require the DTC. You can't get it any other way.
Perfect. All right, is that it, James?
Okay, so outreach. All right, outreach, we moved from a meeting note structure, just because there's a lot going on quickly, to a update structure. This month we discussed Volunteers Make Waves with Sunil and Lauren. We had a good discussion on volunteerism and improving it, and some of the struggles that we have and some of the hurdles. Simple things like software, access to buses, access to IT, that came up this week. These little details that staff members normally have access to, but the volunteers often don't. Accessibility Awards, the nominations closed July 25th. We had close to 30, but after they were all combined and the incomplete nominations removed, we had 13, I believe. And we only have 2 groups this year. We received no nominations for youth groups and no nominations for businesses. So this year, we're only judging individuals and we're judging community groups and organizations. So adjudication's happening now. It should be done by the end of this week. Accessibility fair is on track. Advertising package with the Spectator was just purchased this morning. Posters have been printed and should be distributed this week to the HPL, Rec Center, City Hall Service Center, City Housing Buildings, HSR terminals, and local business improvement areas. We still need to distribute on campus at McMaster and Mohawk, but we have to get permission to post first. Fair pamphlets have been printed for darts vehicles and HSR events. Just single sheet pamphlets. Banners updated. We'll be ready to hang at the week of the event. Let's see. Event page on City of Hamilton is now live with links to the website. Stations include the chair wash, safe space tent, haptic tactile station, dexterity loss simulator, vision loss simulator, motion mobility device station, motion garage repair and maintenance station, Lucy sensor system demonstrator, canine service dog demonstrations, and I think I'm missing a couple more, but that's quite a bit. See, website is ready to go. Just updating exhibitor and schedule pages as changes are made. There was a concern that our budget would be over because we were adding setup and teardown costs with the equipment, but it actually has come just under budget, so we should be good. And we need volunteers. Anybody need volunteers? Anybody know volunteers that need some volunteer hours or just want something to do on September the 4th? Please put the word out. We need volunteers to run these stations. We keep growing them, so we keep needing more people. I think that's it for outreach.
All right. Okay. Strategic planning and working group, I guess.
I think Jake has a question, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So is there any like official information that we can pass on to volunteers to get people interested? Because I know a group of people that would potentially be interested in volunteering.
What sort of information piece are you looking for? I've got lots of posters, pamphlets and stuff, but what specifically targeted are you looking for?
Like, I don't know if there's like a specific sign up for volunteers or not, is my question.
The contact us page is what we're using for volunteers. I did put a note at the very front homepage entry that says we're looking for volunteers. If you want to volunteer, either use the contact page to fill out the form there or send me an email if you have troubles with the forms.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Right. Next is the strategic planning working group.
Yeah, I was hoping to have strategic planning on the last Tuesday, which would have been the 5th Tuesday, but we had problems with transportation and shifted it instead, so that didn't actually happen.
Okay. Transportation working group update.
No, I'll take back the chair.
Okay. You have the chair.
Thank you very much. Transportation working group update.
I chaired in lieu of Paula. She's not here, so hard for her to comment. We talked about a few things. One was an update from Michelle Martin on the survey. Second thing we talked about was the taxi issue in the city and the fact that we're running out of accessible taxis. There will be a question come forward to ACPD probably at the next meeting in September around the taxi issue. I was hoping to have that done for this meeting, but it just wasn't doable. And I think those were the primary discussion points. So notes will have to come forward for September.
In Parklands, you don't have an update there.
Parklands is still dormant for the time being. The OT report is still in the hands of city staff, and I haven't heard anything from them. Summertime, I wasn't going to ask what the status is. I think we can wait until the fall.
Okay, thanks, Tim. 7.9, resignation from the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities, Hope Bonenfant. Do I read this out or? No? Okay, just accept it. Are there any questions? Mark?
When somebody resigns from the committee, does the chair or the ACP thank them for their participation? Because, I mean, there have been some resignations that have been, I mean, Hope has been particularly helpful, particularly to you as the chair. I was just wondering if there was some sort of communication to them when they resign, thanking them for their service, and whether or not it'd be appropriate. I would think it would. But
I don't see why it wouldn't be appropriate. Hope gave some excellent service. Anybody that's willing to give their time deserves appreciation. I don't think we have a letter prepared, but I can definitely make a note and ensure that we do. Okay, I will miss Hope. Okay, so that's it. May I please have a mover and a seconder to receive items 7.1, 7.8, and receive 7.9 and refer it to the General Issues Committee? Mark, and are you putting your hand up or you have a question? Tim?
Yeah, I just raised the hand to be a mover or a seconder if you need it.
Thanks very much, Tim. Then I will have you seconded. So moved by Mark, seconded by Tim. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Is there anybody opposed? Seeing none, that's carried then. Then I need to relinquish the chair, apparently. Mark?
I have the chair.
You.
And are we looking at item 9.1?
9.1, correct.
Right. Request for the selection committee to recruit accessibility committee for persons with disabilities. Now, do we need to read the motion or?
Can read the motion, yes. Would you like me to?
Yeah, sure. I don't think it's that long, is it? Just
no.
brief. Yeah.
Do we need a mover and a seconder to go first, or does it matter? Yeah, we need a mover and a seconder first.
Okay. Can I have a mover and a seconder?
Oh, I'm the mover. Sorry.
So who's the second?
I need a second. I see Jake.
There we go. Jake. Good.
Excellent. Okay, so I will read this out. Request for the selection committee to recruit for the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities. Whereas a member of the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities, ACPD, Lance Dingman, passed away on June 7th, 2025. Whereas a member of the ACPD, Hope Bonenfant, resigned from the committee. Whereas the terms of reference for ACPD establishes membership for the committee as up to 18 members, and membership on ACPD is currently at 13. And whereas recruitment of more members to ACPD would better enable the committee to fulfill their mandate, therefore be it resolved that the selection committee be requested to recruit up to 5 additional members to the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities.
All right. So any opposed? All right, carried.
Excellent, thank you. And we'll take back the chair.
Yeah, chair.
Thank you. General information, other business. Is there any general information or other business people would like to discuss or bring up?
I'm looking forward to the fair. How's that?
Me too. I believe Tim.
Tim here. I raised my hand just to offer a couple things, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Again, when the raised hand status, you get a verbal feedback and it interferes with any conversations going on. So I'm just asking, is it okay if I raise a couple of items under new business? Hello?
It's okay, Tim, go ahead.
Oh, okay. First off, the Accessibility Hamilton Alliance has its September Disability History Month coming up. We're still in the process of trying to plan some activities with some folks at McMaster University. But Saturday, September the 20th is the Hamilton Accessibility Film Festival. All of the detail has just been posted to the Westdale Theatre website, which is the location for the festival. There will be 4 films shown. The first one called Unbreakable Boy at 10 a.m., a film called Harvey at 1 p.m. Still Alice, the third film, will be at 4 p.m. And The Sound of Metal will take place at 7 p.m. Admission is free to all persons in the communities. And admission is free to all persons in the community. All 4 films will have open captioning, and 1 film will have open description. Regrettably, the ability to have open description is limited based upon the accessibility features of the film and the accessibility features permitted by the distributors, which is a continued problem. So I just wanted to share that for everybody's information. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Any other questions, other business? Seeing that, Mark, can you take the chair for just a second?
I have the chair.
Thank you very much. I did forget to mention in outreach, during the awards ceremony, Jake has graciously offered to sing a song in memory of Lance Dingman. I wanted to mention that. I do know that the Roundtable for Poverty Reduction is working on airing Lance's film also in September. I believe they're shooting for the Sherman movie theater because that was the area that Lance was from. But I don't have any more information than that. And that's it.
All right.
I'll take back the chair.
You have the chair.
Thank you. Okay, so if there is no other business, we will move on to adjournment. No? Okay, then there being no further business, this meeting now is adjourned at 5:19. Then thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you all coming out, and you have yourselves a great day.